The alien city of Verux 9 was silent. No engines roared. No crowds moved. Only cold blue lights glowed along the tall crystal towers. In the center of the city stood something no alien dared to touch anymore. They called it the sealed gate. It was not a door. It was not a wall. It was a living structure, made of shifting metal and glowing symbols that slowly moved like breathing skin. For hundreds of years, the gate had remained closed. Not broken, not damaged, simply sealed. Alien scientists tried everything. They burned it with plasma. They froze it with absolute zero. They used the strongest machines in the galaxy. Nothing worked. The gate did not respond to alien hands. It rejected alien minds. It stayed silent. And because of that, an entire alien race was slowly dying. Their world's energy came from behind that gate. Their future waited inside it. Yet it remained sealed. Until one day, a human arrived. Ethan Cole was not a hero, was not a soldier. He was not a scientist. He was only a human explorer, sent by Earth to study abandoned systems. When his small ship landed near Verux 9, he did not expect to see a city full of aliens staring at him in silence. They did not attack. They did not speak. They only watched him. Like he was something impossible. Ethan stepped down carefully, his boots touching the smooth alien ground. Hello, he said, raising a hand. No reply. Then slowly, an alien stepped forward. Tall, silver skin, eyes glowing soft blue. You are human? The alien asked in broken English. Yes, Ethan replied. And you are? My name is Kelther, guardian of the gate. Ethan noticed something strange. The alien's hands were shaking. You look nervous, Ethan said. Kelther lowered his head. For many cycles we waited for your kind. Ethan blinked. Waited? For humans? Kelther turned and pointed toward the center of the city. There is something that only a human can touch. They walked through silent streets. Thousands of aliens stood on both sides, watching Ethan walk past them. Not with fear, but with hope. At the center, Ethan saw it. The sealed gate. It was massive, taller than any building around it. Its surface glowed with strange moving patterns. Ethan felt something in his chest. A strange pull. As if the gate was aware of him. What is this place? Ethan asked quietly. Kelther spoke slowly. Our ancestors built this gate long before we ruled this world. It protects a power that keeps our planet alive. Then why not open it? Ethan asked. Kelther's eyes darkened. We cannot. Ethan turned sharply. What do you mean you can't? The gate does not accept us. Our touch is rejected. Our minds are blocked. Kelther looked directly at Ethan. But when your ships passed near our world, the gate reacted. It glowed for the first time in centuries. Ethan's heart beat faster. You're saying this thing reacted to humans? Kelther nodded. The gate is sealed to us, but not to you. The crowd behind them whispered softly. Ethan stepped closer to the gate. He did not touch it yet. Up close, it looked even more alive. The symbols on its surface slowly changed shape as he approached. It was responding to his presence. A soft hum filled the air. Aliens gasped. It's awake. Someone whispered. Ethan raised his hand slowly. Kelther's voice stopped him. Human Ethan, understand this. If you touch it, and it opens, everything changes for us. And for your kind. Ethan swallowed. What happens if it doesn't open? Kelther answered quietly. Then our world dies within 10 cycles. The silence that followed felt heavy. Ethan looked at the gate. Then at the aliens around him. He was only one man. On a world not his own. Facing a mystery older than human space travel itself. Yet somehow, the gate waited for him. Why humans? Ethan asked softly. Kelther shook his head. We do not know. But our legends speak of a species that walks between strength and mercy. A species that does not rule by force, but by will. Ethan gave a small, nervous smile. You give humans too much credit. But still. He moved forward. Slowly. Carefully. The gate's surface brightened as his hand came closer. The hum grew louder. Aliens held their breath just before his fingers touched it. The gate changed. The symbols rearranged. A soft light spread outward, and a single word appeared in glowing human letters. Access detected. HFY and Ethan froze. The crowd behind him erupted in shocked whispers. Calther fell to his knees. You are the key. But Ethan had not touched it yet. The gate had reacted. Just because he was near, and that terrified him. Because if the gate could sense him, what else could it do? Ethan slowly lowered his hand. Not touching. Not yet. Gate waited. And so did an entire world. The gate did not open. It did not close either. It simply waited. Ethan stood only a few steps away from it, his hand still raised in the air, frozen between fear and duty. The glowing words on the gate's surface slowly faded, but their meaning stayed heavy in his mind. Access detected. Human. The entire alien crowd behind him remained silent. Not one moved. Not one spoke. It was as if the city itself was holding its breath. Calther slowly rose from his knees and approached Ethan with careful steps. You are not touching it, Calther said softly. Ethan nodded. I don't think it wants me to rush. Calther looked surprised. You believe it thinks? Ethan looked at the living metal surface. I think it feels, he replied. A deep vibration rolled through the ground. The gate began to glow. Again, brighter this time, casting long blue shadows across the silent city. Strange symbols moved across its surface like flowing water. Suddenly, a beam of soft light shot out from the center of the gate and stopped inches from Ethan's chest. It did not burn. It did not hurt. It simply scanned him. Alien stepped back in fear. Ethan did not move. The beam moved slowly from his head to his feet, reading him like a book written in blood and memory. A calm voice echoed in the air, not from speakers, not from mouths. But from the gate itself. Human mind detected. Ethan swallowed hard. Calther's eyes widened. It speaks. The voice continued. Your kind was expected. Ethan spoke carefully. Expected by who? The gate remained silent for a moment. Then the symbols changed again. Images appeared on its surface of ancient stars. Burning worlds. Alien fleets tearing each other apart in war. Ethan watched in shock as entire civilizations were shown rising and falling. This is a record, Calther whispered. A memory of our ancestors. The gate's voice returned. They failed. Power without balance destroyed them. Ethan clenched his fists. So you locked it away? The gate answered, yes. The ground shook lightly. Aliens behind them knelt again. Calther lowered his head. We tried for centuries to open you. We failed. Ethan stepped closer. Then why me? The gate responded slowly. Your kind carries conflict and control, violence and mercy. You fall, but you rise again. Ethan felt a strange chill. You're saying humans are special because we're broken? The gate paused. Then replied, you are special because you choose. The words struck Ethan harder than any weapon. Humans chose war, but also peace. They chose greed, but also sacrifice. Ethan took a deep breath. What do you want from me? The gate's light dimmed slightly. Test. Suddenly, the city disappeared around him. Ethan found himself standing alone in darkness. No aliens. No gate. Only stars. Then images formed around him. Earth. He saw human cities burning in old wars. People screaming. Soldiers fighting. Then the images changed. Doctors saving lives. Strangers helping strangers. Humans standing together against disasters. The gate's voice echoed around him. This is your kind. Ethan spoke quietly. Yes, we are both. The darkness shifted again. Now Ethan saw a future, human fleets dominating alien worlds. Flags raised over broken cities. Ethan shook his head. That is not who we must become. The gate's voice grew. Deeper. Power creates temptation. Ethan closed his eyes. Then don't give me power. The darkness stopped. The gate replied slowly. We do not give power to rule. We give power to protect. Ethan opened his eyes. The alien city returned around him. The beam of light was gone. The gate stood silent again. Kelthur rushed forward. What did it show you? Ethan turned to him, his face pale. It showed me who we are, and who we could become. Kelthur waited. And? He asked. Ethan looked back at the gate. I won't open it for power, he said firmly. Only if what's inside can save lives. A new glow appeared. The gate responded. Acceptable. A thin line formed down the center of the gate. Not open. Unlocked. Just a little. Energy leaked out, gentle and warm, like sunlight after a long night. Aliens gasped. Kelthur's voice trembled. You unlocked it without touching. Ethan whispered. I didn't unlock it. It unlocked itself. The gate had not opened fully, but now it was no longer sealed, and the galaxy had just taken its first step toward change. But Ethan knew something worse was coming. Because if humans could open what no alien could, then others would want that power too, and they would not come in peace. The first ship arrived without warning. It tore through the sky above Verex 9, like a blade cutting the air. Ethan felt the ground shake beneath his feet as the alien city lights flickered. The peaceful glow around the gate dimmed, and alarms echoed across the tall crystal towers. Kelthur turned sharply toward the sky. They found us, he whispered. Ethan looked up. The ship was not from Vorex 9. It was massive, dark, and covered in sharp metal plates like armor. Another ship followed. Then another. Dozens. Ethan's heart pounded. Who are they? Kelthur's face hardened. The Car Dominion. Conquerors. They erase worlds and steal their power. Ethan turned toward the gate. They want what's inside. Kelthur nodded slowly. And now, they want you. A loud explosion shook the city as the first enemy soldiers landed. They were tall, heavy, and cruel-looking, with glowing red eyes and thick black armor. Their weapons burned with red energy. Alien civilians screamed and ran. Ethan clenched his fists. I didn't open the gate fully. They can't use it. Kelthur replied, they don't need to open it. They will force you to. The gate pulsed once. As if it understood the danger. A calm voice echoed again. Threat detected. The gate's surface glowed brighter. Ethan felt a strange warmth in his chest. Not power. Not pain, but strength. A car commander stepped forward, his voice loud and sharp. Human. Step away from the gate. You belong to the Dominion now. Ethan did not move. Kelthur raised his weapon, but Ethan gently pushed it down. No, Ethan said quietly. This is my fight, the commander laughed. You are weak. You are alone. Ethan looked around. Alien guards, alien citizens, all watching him. I'm not alone, he said. Suddenly, a blast of red energy flew toward Ethan. Before it reached him, the gate reacted. A glowing shield appeared in front of Ethan, blocking the blast completely. The city fell silent. Kelthur stared in shock. It's protecting you. The gate spoke again. Human defense active. The car soldiers roared and opened fire. Blasts filled the air, but every attack bent and broke against the glowing shield around Ethan. Ethan did not control it. He did not command it. The gate chose him, and now it was defending him. The car commander stepped back slowly. What are you? He demanded. Ethan looked at his own hands, still human, still weak, but now chosen. I am human, Ethan said. And that is enough, the commander growled. Kill him. The car soldiers rushed forward, But something changed. As they came close to the shield, they were thrown backward, as if the air itself rejected them. Aliens behind Ethan began to rise. They saw it. For the first time in centuries, something was standing between them and destruction. And it was a human. Kelthur raised his weapon high. For Virex 9. He shouted. Alien warriors charged forward. The battle exploded. Energy. Blasts, shouts, fire in the sky. But in the center of it all, Ethan stood calm, the gate glowing behind him like a silent guardian. One car soldier broke through and ran straight toward Ethan with a blade raised. Ethan did not move. The gate pulsed. The soldier froze mid-step and was thrown away. Like a leaf in a storm. Ethan whispered, "I didn't even ask it to." The gate replied, "You did not need to." The car commander realized the truth. The gate was not just power. It was choosing a side. And that side was human. Furious, the commander activated a massive cannon from the skyship above. A glowing red beam began charging, aimed directly at the gate. Kelthur shouted, "If that hits the gate, it may destroy everything." Ethan looked up at the weapon. If he ran, the gate would be hit. If he stayed, he might die. He stepped forward, directly in front of the gate. Kelthur screamed, "Ethan, no!" Ethan spread his arms, not in challenge, not in anger, but in choice. The cannon fired. Beam of pure destruction came crashing down toward him. At that moment, the gate flared with blinding light. The beam struck and vanished, not blocked. Not reflected. Erased. The sky went silent. The car ships froze in place. The commander dropped to one knee in disbelief. The gate spoke one final line in a voice that echoed across the city and sky. "The human stands. The gate stands." The car fleet began retreating. Slowly. F-E-A-R-F-U-L-L-Y. Because they had just learned something terrifying. They could conquer worlds. They could crush alien empires. But when humanity stood with something ancient, even monsters stepped back. Ethan lowered his arms. The battle was over, but he knew this was only the beginning. Because now the entire galaxy would hear one truth. The gate had chosen a human. The city of Virex 9 was quiet again. Smoke drifted slowly between the crystal towers. Broken ground still glowed red where enemy blasts had hit. Alien soldiers carried the wounded. Civilians came out of hiding, but all eyes were on one place. The gate. It still stood tall, glowing softly, untouched by the massive cannon that should have destroyed it. Ethan stood in front of it, breathing slowly, trying to calm his racing heart. He was still alive. Kelthur walked to his side. "You stood in front of death," Kelthur said quietly, "and the gate stood with you." Ethan looked at his hands. "They tried to kill me. The gate stopped them. I don't understand why." The gate pulsed once. As if listening. Then the symbols on its surface began to change again, slowly. The thin line down the center widened, not fast, not violent, like something opening its eyes for the first time. Aliens stepped back in fear. Kelthur whispered, "It's opening." Ethan felt the same warm pull in his chest again. The gate spoke. "Human Ethan Cole, you have passed the first defense." Ethan swallowed. "What defense?" The gate replied calmly, "The defense of intent." The ground trembled gently. The gate continued, "You stood before destruction to protect others. That is the first key." The opening widened a little more. Soft golden light spilled out from inside. It felt warm. Safe. Not dangerous. Kel knelt again. Our legends were true. Ethan stepped closer. "What is inside you?" he asked the gate. The gate paused. Then answered, "US." The light grew brighter. Images formed in the air above the opening. Tall beings, made of light and metal, not machines, not flesh. Something in between. An ancient race. The gate spoke again. "We were called the Aurelians." Ethan stared at the glowing figures. "You're still alive?" "Nitrogen monoxide." The voice softened. We are what remains. The images changed. Ethan saw the Aurelians building great cities, then massive wars, then their own weapons destroying their worlds. Aliens and humans watching fell silent. Kelthar whispered, "They killed themselves." The gate continued, "We became too strong, too fast. We ruled instead of protecting." The images showed the Aurelians enslaving other races. Then everything burned. Ethan felt a cold weight in his chest. "You sealed yourselves away." "Yes." The gates glowed dimmed slightly. "We locked our power behind a species we believed would not abuse it." Ethan looked up sharply. "You chose humans before we even reached space?" "Yes." Kelthar stepped forward in shock. "Why?" "Humans? They are violent. They fight each other." The gate answered calmly, "Sulfur monoxide, did we?" The images changed again. Now Ethan saw humans helping each other during disasters, sharing food, saving strangers. Your kind is broken, but you do not give up. The gate focused on Ethan. "You feel guilt. You feel mercy. You question your own power." Ethan felt his throat tighten. "You think that makes us worthy?" The gate replied, "Iga makes you safe." Silence filled the city. Kelthar lowered his head slowly. "You trust humans more than us." The gate answered gently, "We trust those who do not trust themselves with power." Ethan closed his eyes. "That's the smartest thing I've ever heard." The opening widened again. Inside, Ethan saw a vast chamber of light. No weapons. Number. Machines of war. Only flowing energy and quiet knowledge. "What happens now?" Ethan asked. The gate responded, "You become the interface." Ethan's eyes widened. "The what?" "The voice. The limit. The human line we will not cross." Kelthar gasped. "You mean he controls you?" The gate corrected him. "No. He restrains us." Ethan shook his head slowly. "You're asking me to hold back the power of an ancient race." "Yes." Ethan laughed weakly. "I can barely hold back my temper." The gate pulsed warmly. "That is why you were chosen." The light grew brighter. The opening stopped. Not fully open. Not fully closed. Balanced. The gate spoke one final line. "The galaxy is not ready, but it will be." Ethan stepped back. The gate dimmed. The images vanished. The city stood silent. Kale. Tar looked at Ethan with new eyes. "You are not a weapon," he said. "You are a lock." Ethan exhaled slowly. "I don't want this job." Kelthar gave a small, sad smile. "No one worthy ever does." Ethan looked back at the gate. He finally understood the truth. The gate was never waiting for a conqueror. It was waiting for a human brave enough to say, "Not yet." The gate did not speak again. Not after it named Ethan the limit. Not after it showed the truth of the Aurelians. The city of HFY slowly returned to life, but nothing felt the same anymore. Ethan sat alone near the base of the gate, staring at the soft light flowing along its surface. He was not afraid now. He was tired. Kale. Tar approached quietly and sat beside him. "You have not moved for hours," Kelthar said. Ethan gave a small smile. "I'm trying to understand how a normal human becomes the stop sign for an ancient power." Kelthar looked at him seriously. "You are not normal anymore." Ethan shook his head. "That's the problem. I still feel normal." Suddenly, alarms rang again. Not loud, not violent, different. Kelthar stood quickly. "Those are not attack alarms." A hologram appeared in the air, a message from Earth. Ethan's heart skipped. The face of a human commander appeared. "Ethan Cole." The commander said, "We detected the energy wave from your location. The gate is real." Ethan's eyes narrowed. And Earth wants access." Ethan stood slowly. "Access for what?" The commander hesitated. "For defense, for control, for survival." Ethan felt something twist in his chest. "You want to use it as a weapon." The commander did not deny it. "Every world needs protection." Ethan looked back at the gate. So did they. Kelthar whispered, they want what the Dominion wanted. Ethan phone turned back to the hologram. If I open it for you, billions could die. And billions could be saved, the commander replied. Ethan clenched his fists. That was the problem. Power always came with good reasons. I won't open it, Ethan said. The commander's eyes hardened. You don't have the right to decide. For all of humanity, Ethan replied calmly. I have the duty not to destroy it. The signal cut. Silence returned. But now, it was heavy. Kelthar spoke quietly. Your own kind will come for you. Ethan nodded. I know. That night, Ethan walked alone near the outer towers of the city. Stars shined above. The gate's soft glow lit the streets. Behind him, he thought of Earth, of humans fighting each other, of leaders making choices with other people's lives. He whispered to himself, why us? The gate answered, not aloud, but in his mind, because you doubt. Ethan closed his eyes. If he became a god, humans would worship him. If he became a weapon, humans would use him. If he became a king, humans would follow him. He did not want any of that. The next day, human ships appeared in the sky, not attacking. Yet they hovered like silent threats. Kelthar stood beside Ethan on the highest tower. They will not wait forever, Kelthar said. Ethan replied, neither will I. He turned and walked back toward the gate. Aliens gathered again, not kneeling this time. Standing. Ethan faced the gate. I know what you can do, he said. The gate responded, you may command. Ethan shook his head. I don't want command. He placed his hand gently on the gate, not to open it, but to speak, then listen. The gate glowed brighter. Ethan spoke clearly. No human, no alien. No empire gets to own you. Kelthar gasped. The gate paused. Then answered, agreed. Ethan continued, you exist to protect life, not control it. The gate replied, accepted. The glow changed. The gate's energy stabilized. No longer rising. No longer leaking. Balanced. Ethan stepped back. He turned to Kelthar. I just locked it from everyone. Kelthar stared at him. You denied even yourself. Ethan smiled faintly. That's how I know it was right. Suddenly, the human ships moved. Weapons began to charge. Kelthar shouted, they will attack. Ethan looked up calmly. Let them. The gate reacted. A massive invisible barrier rose around the entire city. Not a weapon. A shield. Human ships fired. The blasts hit the barrier and vanished. No explosions. No damage. Just silence. The human fleet stopped. They had no power here. The gate spoke across space. This world is under protection. The ships slowly pulled back. Ethan closed his eyes. Humanity had just learned something important. Not everything that could be used should be. Kelthar spoke softly. You refused to become a god, Ethan answered. I chose to remain human. And in doing so, he saved humanity from itself. The news spread faster than any ship, across star systems, across alien networks, across hidden space channels. One message echoed. A human had stood before an ancient power and refused to use it. For many, this was harder to believe than if he had destroyed a world. On Varex 9, life slowly returned to normal. But nothing felt normal anymore. Aliens no longer whispered in fear when Ethan walked past. They whispered in respect. But Ethan did not feel like a hero. He felt like a man carrying a quiet weight. Kelthar walked beside him through the marketplace, where alien children stopped playing just to stare at the human. They are afraid of you, Kelthar said. Ethan replied, no, they are afraid of what I didn't do. A group of alien leaders approached, not demanding, not ordering. Asking. Double quotes. Our worlds suffer, one of them said. We heard what you stopped. Can the gate save us too? Ethan looked back toward the distant glow of the gate. The gate is not medicine, he said. It is not a miracle. it is a promise. And promises must be protected, not spent. Some understood, some did not, but none argued. That alone told Ethan how deeply the galaxy had changed. Days passed, then weeks. Human ships returned. But they no longer aimed weapons. They sent messages. Requests. Invitations. Earth wanted Ethan back, not in chains, not as a prisoner. As a symbol. Ethan refused. He did not want to become a banner. He wanted to remain a man. One night, Kelthar found Ethan sitting alone on the highest tower, watching stars drift slowly across the sky. You could rule, Kelthar said quietly. Ethan smiled faintly. And lose everything that made me human. Kelthar looked curious. What does that mean? Ethan pointed toward the stars. Humans are strong not because we rule, but because we live small lives inside big worlds. Kelthar thought about that for a long moment. Then suddenly, alarms sounded again. Not from Vrex-9. From space. A fleet appeared, but not the Dominion. These ships were white and gold, marked with ancient symbols. Kelthar whispered, "The Keepers." Ethan turned sharply. "Who are they?" "A secret alliance," Kelthar explained. "They guard forbidden knowledge. They hide dangerous truths from the galaxy." The fleet sent a message, a single line. "The gate must be sealed forever." Ethan's jaw tightened. Kelthar said, "They fear it will change everything." Ethan answered, "It already has." The Keeper's leader appeared on a hologram. "You opened a path that must not exist," the leader said. "The Aurelians destroyed themselves. You will too." Ethan replied calmly, "I didn't open it. I stopped it." The leader paused. "Then destroy it." Kelthar gasped. Ethan looked back at the gate. "Destroy it? End the risk? End the hope? You are afraid." Ethan said, "Yes," the leader replied honestly. "Because we have seen what power does." "So have I," Ethan answered. "That's why it must remain untouched, not erased." The leader shook his head. "You choose uncertainty over safety." Ethan smiled faintly. "That is what humanity does best." The Keeper's fleet remained silent. Then slowly, they left. The galaxy had expected a war. Instead it saw something more powerful. A human who did not fight. And still one. After that day, something strange happened. Conflicts slowed. Not stopped, but slowed. Empires began to think before acting. Because somewhere in the galaxy, a human had shown restraint where gods had failed. Ethan became a story told in alien schools, a myth whispered by soldiers, a warning to tyrants, not because he destroyed worlds, but because he refused to rule them. Kelthar once asked him, "Do you regret staying?" Ethan answered, "No, because if I left, the story would end. But if I stay, the lesson continues." Years passed. The gate remained silent. Stable. Balanced. Then, one day, Ethan stood alone before it again. He placed his hand on its surface. Not to open, not to command, only to say goodbye. "I won't be here forever," he said softly. The gate replied, "You were never meant to be." Ethan smiled. "Then teach them what I taught you." The gate glowed warmly. And for the first time, it felt like it was learning from him. Ethan Cole disappeared quietly. There was no great farewell, no final speech, no ships firing into the sky. One day, he was simply gone. Some said he left in a small human ship, returning to the silent stars he loved so much. Others believed the gate took him beyond known space. And a few whispered that he still walked among the stars, watching from the shadows. No one knew the truth, but everyone felt his absence. On Vrex-9, the gate still stood tall, glowing softly like a silent sun between crystal towers. But it did not respond to anyone else, the way it had responded to Ethan. It did not choose another. It waited. The alien children who once feared the gate now played beneath its light. They no longer saw it as a prison of power. They saw it as a reminder. A Reminder that the strongest force in the galaxy was not fire or metal. It was restraint. Kelthar grew old. Silver skin faded to soft gray. He often stood alone before the gate, leaning on his staff, staring at the silent surface. You trusted him, Kelthar said softly one day. The gate pulsed gently. As if remembering. Across the galaxy, stories of the human who said no spread far and wide. Soldiers spoke his name before battles, not to ask for victory, but to remember when to stop. Leaders whispered his story in dark rooms when power tempted them, and sometimes, it worked. A war that could have destroyed 3 worlds ended without a single shot fired. An empire that could have crushed a weaker race chose peace instead, not because Ethan commanded them, but because he showed them a different path. Earth. His name became a legend. Some called him weak for refusing power. Others called him the greatest human who ever lived, but most simply called him human. Years later, long after Ethan vanished, a young alien girl stood before the gate with wide glowing eyes. She placed her small hand on the smooth surface. Nothing happened. She turned to her teacher. Why won't it open? She asked. The teacher smiled gently. Because it is not waiting for hands, he said. It is waiting for hearts. The girl frowned. Like the human? Yes, the teacher replied. Like the human. One night, long after the cities had slept and stars burned quietly above, the gate spoke again, not to a person, not to a species, but to the galaxy itself. Its voice echoed softly through space. Power is easy. Wisdom is rare. The human gave you wisdom. And then, the gate dimmed. Not closed. Not broken, but complete. The Aurelian's final gift was no longer hidden behind metal or light. It now lived in stories, in choices, in moments where someone could destroy, but chose not to. Somewhere in deep space, a small human ship drifted between stars. Inside, Ethan Cole sat quietly, watching the galaxy pass by. He did not rule. He did not command. He simply traveled, a human among endless worlds. And that was more powerful than any god.